Hi, everybody. Welcome to my second week of doing a roundup of all the tech news, database news that has occurred in the week. Wanted to jump right in and start talking, and we're going to start with the same topic we started with last week, which is actually more data leaks. Yes, this is actually one of the more embarrassing types of data leaks that you can have. This is a database leak from a GDPR compliance website. So, oops, that's kind of crazy there that, some site that is dedicated to security compliance would have this type of an issue. But as you can see, they did. And this is also a MySQL database that was left open and was breached. So yet another database. It is unusual because generally MySQL, we haven't seen a terrible amount of those in the last 6 months. But this one was left open, so it can happen to even the most security conscious people. Now, the other big topic that we're starting to see some trending on is we're starting to see a lot of people talk about outsourcing and the X as a service trend, especially in the area of in the era of COVID-19. Everyone's looking for ways to handle their traffic to make sure that things can scale because, as we talked about last week, we're seeing an increase in scale as well as a decrease. And that is another big topic, right? So we've got some articles this week on why didn't COVID break the internet because everyone's working from home. And then we've got other articles that say, well, it's been under immense strain and pressure, but it's holding strong. And then we've got others that are saying that, oh, we're exposing the cracks in the public internet. Or in the public cloud. So you can see that there is a lot of emphasis and a lot of focus on, can the internet scale? Can, our cloud providers scale? Are we having issues? And we have still seen issues this week. I know just the other day I saw that Snapchat was having some issues. And then there were a few other applications having issues here and there during the week. But, even though the public cloud providers have started to see some of these outages and slowdowns, it hasn't impacted their revenue. So this is revenue week for a lot of cloud providers. So you can see that AWS hits $10 billion this quarter and has a $40 billion run rate. They're continuing to report massive revenue and subscriptions in AWS. But Azure's also up. Same thing with Google Cloud. So whether you're Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, or AWS, all of them are seeing massive increases in revenue. Now we're going to see more of the COVID impact coming in the next couple quarters, but most cloud providers don't think their cloud revenue is going to be impacted. So they're looking at this as a central place for them to be safe during this uncertain economic time because so many people are moving to the cloud. And not only are they in the cloud, they're seeing traffic spikes which are increasing their costs and helping boost the revenue of a lot of these cloud providers. But these outages and these issues are starting to take their toll on individual providers, and they're starting to look at other places. So this week there was some big news. I don't know if you guys saw it, but the big news of the week that I saw was Zoom was moving some, if not all, and there's some confusion here, of their cloud infrastructure to Oracle over Azure and AWS. Now, what's funny is the day after, of course, there's a article that says, well, wait. Even though they say that they're moving to Oracle, they're moving, most of it still runs on AWS, according to AWS. So it's an interesting, trend that's happening because as you start to see providers, costs go up and their, slowdowns increase and outages increase, you're going to start to see more movement. But this is really started to move more towards the other news of the week, which is you're starting to see this trending, and we've seen this for a while, around multi-cloud, right? So multi-cloud deployments, hybrid environments, but going multi-cloud. So, if Amazon is right and they still have that Zoom, some of that Zoom workload, it's really a multi-cloud play as more than a migration play. But this multi-cloud strategy is something that's real, and it is something that everyone is jumping onto. Now, Google has been in the forefront of this, and they've been trying to get ahead of this. So they also announced this week that Anthos, which is their Kubernetes system to run anywhere, everything, now is available for AWS. So you can start to see kind of the next phase of the cloud war come into play, where not only are you trying to move people onto your own cloud infrastructure, now they're trying to steal, some of the platform as a service, infrastructure as a service play, and run on multiple cloud providers. So it's an interesting trend that we're starting to see. But all of this leads to complexity, which is another interesting article that came out this week, which is article by Paul Teague talking about Google's cloud. Its weakness is actually the hidden complexity behind the scenes, and Google tends to be a bit more complex. It has a bit more detailed technology layer, so it's a good read, worthwhile. But this is something that we're seeing more and more of happen. So finally, recapping some of the Percona news of the week here. So I don't know if you saw, but if you didn't, PXC8, Percona XtraDB Cluster 8.0 is now generally available, and so this is based off of Galera 4. So not only do you get some awesome new features that come as part of the MySQL 8 base, but you also get all the features in Galera 4, so it's a more scalable, resilient version of PXC8 or PXC. Also, my fourth post on the state of open source databases is now live. And so this is talking about when is open source not really open, and talking about some of the different licensing options. So if you haven't been following the series, I've walked through some of the more popular open source database technologies and talked about where they're growing and what the trends are. We also have a webinar coming up this week that I walk through that live. So if you haven't, you might want to register for that. Join me, and you can ask live questions and see what's going on there. Finally, don't forget about Percona Live Online. This is our online conference. We've got about 2,500 people signed up right now, so it's a great turnout already. But this is a 24-hour conference spanning the globe with just open source database topics at its core. Would love to see you there. Please pre-register if you haven't. And if you haven't taken our open source data management survey, please do so. It really helps us out.